Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my beautiful angels. Today we have a special guest at our Soul Healing Summit one, Kristen Bielecki, who is a soul embodiment guide, a crystalline grid architect, intuitive, and a powerful energy healer. She facilitates one into their deep inner awareness of self to empower and divinely guide to live a soul embodied life to create this new earth that we all love to live in. I got to experience Kristen's work firsthand. Her energy when she channels is so magical and so divine and so pure. Something that we all need a dose of in this time in our evolution. Hi, Kristen. I am so lucky and grateful to have you on our summit. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, Veronica. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Just your sweet energy and just down to earth yet super angelic. It's really fun to be with. So thank you.
Thank you. The first question that came to me, because your modality is so unique, is the same question that a lot of people have for healers. Is it something that one day you just had a dream and you're like, oh my goodness, like this is what I'm supposed to do? Or was it a modality that you had to develop for yourself to help you and therefore ended up helping others? What was your journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. I always knew at some level that I'd be working with something spiritual. I just didn't really know what it was. I did energy healing, medical intuitive healing, but there was something deeper inside that was like, there's more. And I don't know what that more is. And I knew I was going to be bringing in something that felt more fulfilling than just giving information to people through readings or through a healing. Some of those of you who've heard my story and some of those who you haven't, I was going through a bit of a challenging life change. And I decided at that point, it was in 2013. And I decided I'm going to live my purpose, no matter what that is. I don't know exactly what that is right now, but I am going to do it. And I left a relationship, a business with my partner at the time. And I just said, okay, I'm doing this. It felt so strong within me. It just felt, those decisions you make and you're just like, it's an absolute yes on in every fiber of your body, but you have no idea what that yes is to yet. And so that's what I did. And then a couple months later, I had a hypnotherapy session through QHHT, the quantum hypnotherapy. And during that session, Metatron came through me in the session and was talking with the facilitator of the session and asked us to work together to assist in forming the new earth. And it was like, okay, okay. And so we did the session, with that happening. And then when we came out of the session, she was like, uh, this is the first time I've ever met this woman, right? And and we just looked at each other and it was such a powerful energy and it was such a powerful question. It was like, no doubt, yes, absolutely, 100% we're in. And from that moment forward, we would get together and do sessions, and Metatron would come through, Melchizedek would come through, Mother Mary, and was just showing us all this information about this universe and how it functions, how we function, what's going to be happening over the years, because so much of that is happening now, right? So it was just like we were being prepared on a physical, mental, emotional, and soul spiritual level for what we're going through right now.
Now I have a burning question.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm totally interrupted you because I'm feeling these things because a lot of people are in doubt and unknown. There's this stress, this fear, like what is going to happen in 2023? Some people are saying it's going to be the best year ever. Some are saying
Mhm.
it's going to be probably even worse than what we've been through in the past 3 years. What is your take on it? Like, what do you see for the new earth?
What I was shown a lot of was the history, right, of how our planet came to be to what is happening now, and then our physical bodies and our souls and how it all functions, right? And so what I'm seeing now is what's happening and what we're moving into is becoming lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. So removing all of these densities, right? As so many of us have been all these waves of intensity the past few years of just purging and clearing and understanding ourselves on such a deeper level. And yeah, with that, there's going to be, a collapse, a change of all the things that are happening on this planet because it needs to, right? It needs to happen for it to change. And we are the ones who are doing this inner work and choosing to step back from the systems that we've been operating in for so much on the earth, taking ourselves, not listening to the news, creating our own thing, being in our own life, and not putting so much energy and power into those outside structures anymore, that as we pull our power from that, they no longer have the power they need to sustain. And so I see that we're going to go through lots of transition on the planet, and it's going to look different for each one of us, of how we're set up, how we're operating, how we're going to choose to respond to it. And it's really about, the key is how we're going to choose to respond to it is
Mm.
going to be the biggest catalyst for us to stay in our bodies, to stay strong, to stay in a cooperative, collaborative mindset in our hearts, so that when we do go through changes, we can still maneuver, we can still move, we can still have clarity no matter what's happening around us. And so what I'm seeing is this planet taking on the template that it originally was meant to take on, which is just the beautiful earth that this earth was meant to be, where we have more harmony, we have more stasis, we have more connection with each other, we're more connected into and communicating with the other realms with ease, right? There is more unity and balance within. And so we're going to be going through those phases of challenge in our own inner self, the challenge on the surface of this planet as things start to change. And I think eventually, because of the way technology is going and everything, eventually there is going to be a relationship where we're going to have Earth more in balance in its natural settings, as well as, some things that may be going on technologically, machine wise, robot wise, and that's just going to be there. It's just going to be something that we are going to be learning how to create our own communities, how to create our own places on this planet, because we're at a vibration and a frequency that can hold that space. And we just
Mhm.
don't live within that system. We
Mm.
just don't live within that system. And so, because a lot of people thought there was a bifurcation going to happen, right? Where a part of the planet splits off, and here's the wonderful new Earth experience happening on this part of the dimensional Earth. And then there's this physical planet over here that's still having all of the challenges and stuff. And really, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be intermeshing, intermingling with all of those things in a way that allows us to frequency wise live within it in balance still. And so that's the power and the strength that we have, and we can maneuver through dimensions easier as well. And so it's going to be interesting to watch, but it's going to take time, right? It's going to take time before that even happens. So if that even happens in my lifetime, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I'm not sure exactly what that looks like, because right now what I'm seeing is that there's a whole new template being architected right now when I tune into the central sun and the earth, and we're all getting prepared to receive this. And so by the time this airs, a lot of this energy is going to be coming through, because it's going to start coming through this weekend and through the solstice and through the new year. That is going to prepare our systems to be able to handle even more
Mm.
this new cycle creation, right? To step out of the old cycles of what has been, no matter what it is, whatever we're tied into, because all of us are tied into different things at different levels because of our history and our conditioning and our lifetimes and all of that. And so it's really about creating a brand new cycle of existence.
Mm.
And in this brand new cycle of existence, where we're not going to be cycling through spiritual ages and dark ages and all that stuff consistently like we have been for who knows how long, it's going to be like, okay, well, and this has happened before, where I'm watching a lot of conversations happening in the inner sanctums of the sun and beyond, with those beings that are the ones that are working with the control and dark forces on the planet to keep all this stuff going with the food that, that's imbalanced, with energy, with costs, with the mind control and all that fun stuff.
I call it the
And
system.
the system
Yeah.
and us, right? And those of us and all the beings that are really working to create the change and support a change. And there's a lot of conversations between these beings going on right now. And this happens every so often when there's going to be a major pivotal change because they're also trying to figure out how to do this in a way that we can create some sort of semblance, some sort of balance, some sort of collaboration, but on a level where there is complete coexistence.
So you're
And
sensing that
yeah.
it's gonna be like a major one-time change versus like a slow,
Well,
consistent
it's a slow process. It's going to be a slow process, but every once in a while we get those major like,
wake-up calls.
downloads and energetic changes and the planet changes and we're changing, and I'm seeing one of those coming here soon.
Mm,
And so when that happens, it's an opportunity for us to step more into our strength, step more into our power and say, okay, well, what cycle am I choosing?
mm,
And I know when this airs, we're going to be kind of going through the integration of that process. And so, those of you who are listening, you can go, oh, wow, what did I just receive? What did I just go through? What did I just experience? And what am I choosing right now? Am I willing to take some even more bolder steps in how I'm going to create my life and change things? Right? Am I willing to meet myself at a much deeper level, right? Am I willing to meet this creative energy that's coming through me, maybe this power that's coming alive in the physical body? Because the cells of the body, as these cycles are changing, and we choose to change with it, we gain more power, we gain more energy, we gain more clarity, we gain more opportunity,
mm,
and connection with our own self, with our own soul. And so when that happens, that means that we are a perfect power, creative energy source to choose and to create with.
mm.
And so that doubt that can happen of like, oh, it's going to be it's going to be horrible and bad and everything's going to be crashing down around us. It's like, well, some of that may happen somewhere, I mean, it's
Yeah,
inevitable in some ways that some of that will be happening somewhere, just like a lot of these massive earth changes where things that were crumbling down around people,
yeah.
right? And but where are we? Where are we choosing to tune into? What are we choosing to tune into? And it's always that no matter where we're at, are you choosing to tune into the fear and the doubt and the confusion, or are you willing to tune into just that space in the heart that speaks love, that speaks
Mm,
connection, that speaks wholeness? And that's what I'm feeling to just share with everyone to create that knowing that we are creator.
mm. There's a question that I'm channeling for the collective because there's no time, there's no future, there's no past, everything is happening in real time. All of these transformations are happening, and sometimes we get hit with a huge transformation, yet we're inevitably changing a little bit every day.
Mm-hmm.
We are still living in the system as much as we meditate and we travel through dimensions and we experience
Uh-huh.
other realms. We're still in the world where we have
Yeah.
to use the system because that is how we connected. That is the rules and regulations. That's the life. We can just, I mean, you could just go in a cabin in the middle of the woods and create your own world and be away from the system. But that is not the reality for most people.
Yeah.
And when something hits you like that, and you said something very important, it's not so much what happens, is how we react to it.
Mm-hmm.
What advice or what super hack would you give to somebody that is specific to your modality that somebody can use when you get put in that situation? Your natural reaction is to be angry, to snap, or to do this or to do that, which is behaviors learned from our lifetime and all of our ancestors that's built within us to respond a certain way, to react a certain way, instead of like taking that breath and be like, okay, what is
Mm-hmm.
really happening? So, what hack would you use in a moment like that, in a moment of crisis when something happens, to pivot instead of going into your humanness and the pain to go into your light? What would you do?
I feel what I'm feeling. I
Mm,
allow myself to acknowledge that I'm feeling scared or feeling pain or feeling disappointment or overwhelm or frustration or anger, whatever it is, sadness. I let myself feel what I'm feeling. And instead of going like, oh, I can't feel that way, it's going, okay, I'm going to let myself feel this because it's true and it's real right now. This is the response that's naturally coming through me in this experience. And in that is a lot of power. In that is a lot of clarity. So it's not to get caught up in it. It's so that we can say, yes, I'm feeling this. I'm acknowledging it. I'm going to let my body have some moments to feel this. Right. So it's coming into the mindfulness of what one's feeling, what you're experiencing, what it looks like. Maybe if there's something happening in a crisis around you physically, like, okay, what's happening around me? Right. What's happening around me? Taking some breaths, right? Taking some breaths and really taking in the details and then going, ah, okay. Now that I can have some awareness, we've switched from just being in reaction to having mindful awareness. Okay, I'm having these feelings. I'm having this experience. Now, now that I'm aware of it and I'm in my body and I'm with it, I'm going to choose how I'm going to move and how I'm going to act, even with these emotions. So I'm going to take a step, I'm going to get some water, I'm going to call somebody, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to support whatever is happening in that experience, right? That I know I can receive support. Or say the phone systems are down, you say, okay, all right, now I'm going to go find out what's happening with my neighbors. I'm going to go, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like taking the situation and going, how can I act? How can I act in a way that will be beneficial and supportive to me right now? So instead of getting caught in what's happening, or even if we do get caught in it for a moment, okay, all right, bring it back to center. Take a breath. This is what I'm feeling. It's always, 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 even in the present moment when even a crisis isn't happening and we have an emotion, being able to acknowledge and let ourselves feel what we're feeling is really powerful because
Mm.
then we're not ignoring it. We're not trying to push it aside somewhere to where it keeps that cycle going, right? And that mindfulness and awareness brings all of our energy back into our body, right? If it blew out in any way out of our nervous system, it can start to trigger the consciousness away from the subconscious programming, right? Because we're choosing to think about what's happening. And so then it brings a lot of awareness and mindfulness into the moment to then be able to start moving and choosing and acting rather than reacting.
Thank you so much. And it's so important to hear it from a different perspective because a lot of times we're using our mind, which is a different operating system to solve our hard problems. And
Mhm,
it's tough because that's what the system taught us. It's like, oh, don't be emotional, don't be
mhm.
angry, don't be sad, don't be this, don't be that, because that makes you not a strong person, makes you a weak
Yeah,
person or so forth,
mhm,
right? Instead of like crying your eyes out for
yeah,
5 minutes and then be done with it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and I have those moments, like, sometimes a wave comes in and I don't even know what or where, but I
Mhm.
would just feel, like, this intense energy, and I just wanna cry out, and my boyfriend's, like, going around, like, trying to, like, ease up the situation. I'm like, "It's okay, just let me cry for 5 minutes, and then I can
Mm,
g come back to my happy self." But
yeah.
we're not trained to allow space in our lives or in the relationships or even with each other, with ourselves to feel those feelings and acknowledge, hey, it's okay if I feel hurt. Maybe to my logical mind, to my adult mind, doesn't make sense why I'm hurt, but the little girl in me needs attention, the little boy in me needs attention, and he's hurt, and that is okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just acknowledging that, it goes back to the same thing as listening to another person. When you
Mhm.
acknowledge your own pain or somebody else acknowledges your own pain, it almost goes away faster because
Yeah.
somebody heard you, because it is real.
Mhm.
But when you ignore it, then we're taught to suppress these emotions, to keep it in, to be a strong human being, even more so for males than females. Many
Yeah,
males don't even know how to cry. And I think
yeah.
that's the most beautiful thing when you allow that part of you, because we are emotional human beings. And when we get caught up with how we should be versus what feels natural in a moment, then we
Mhm.
get into this conflict. And as we're going through this ascension and changing of not just us, the entire collective, the entire earth is changing as we're building this new earth. We have to go with the flow because the
Yeah,
transformation is happening, 1,000 miles an hour versus like before once in a while. And
yeah,
it's very,
absolutely.
very important that you share the distinction between the mind and the heart and allow yourself to truly feel and be present, authentic, and honest with where you are in a moment. Question to you as a healer, as a light worker, because I do hear this a lot. When you go through a period like you're helping others, doing group meditations, you're doing group healings, you're working with people one on one. When it hits you, when a wave of energy or happiness comes to you and you find yourself in that moment, do you ever question, like, hey, I thought I arrived to a certain point. Why am I still dealing with this? Do you ever question if your gift or whatever it is that you are doing, it's good and strong enough?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I find that it's amazing sometimes what will show up. And I always find it amazing, like, oh, here we are again, like, oh, my old friend showing up again that has another layer, has another piece to share around an experience. And I feel like that's what's happening right now is some of those deeper levels of our consciousness are showing up. And there are times, Veronica, and I'm sure other people can relate to this, is like, or that do healing work or do anything in the world really, is like, I don't need to do that. I can't do this anymore. It's like, you want to take some time out. Why am I doing this? And I still have that show up for me sometimes. And I just acknowledge it and I let it take me where it wants to take me because obviously there's something in that and I want to have the full experience. And so just like really let yourself feel what you're feeling, whatever thoughts are coming up, like, wow, look at this thought. What's in that? I'm very much a person that loves to unpack things and really dive in and have the full experience. Because for me, one of the things that helps, just like what you were saying, even if I need to cry for 5 minutes. And the other piece that I wanted to share, because I kept seeing you do it, is, other techniques I can have is put a hand on your body, where you're feeling that emotion. If it's your heart or your belly, if you're feeling tension or if your head hurt, is getting tense, place a hand on the heart, another part of the body or something to bring some awareness to that part of the body. Cause I'll do that too. If I'm finding myself in that space, I'll take deep breaths and I'll just be like, wow, what is in this? What's in this for me? I want to know. I want to know what's in there. I want to know what's in here because this ride that we're on, something that I've been really playing with and connecting with is that this ride that we're on in this life, in this body, is really to get to know ourselves. And
Mm.
everything that is in our external reality is something we co created to help us reflect who we are to ourselves in
Mhm.
the most amazing of ways, right? And so if we can start to look at look at life as, wow, this journey is not about necessarily becoming something, or having to be somebody or anything. It's more of, wow, who am I? How do I get to experience this moment? How do I get to experience this life or this relationship or this experience? What's being reflected to me? What's in that? Even if it's our own emotions, our own thoughts. So that's I like to play that way. So when you ask me that question, it's like my mind goes to all those places because for me, it's like whenever I'm having a big wave and I'm like, okay, put the covers over my head, or whoa, there's an amazing energy coming through, and I'm just feeling all of this, and it's moving my body this way, and I'm like having this experience, and it's showing me, how to do things differently with maybe my son or my partner. It's information, and that information is amazing to me. And I really honor the information that's coming through even if I'm crying it out or there's anger coming up in it. It's information and it's only going to help me become more a clear version of myself and then be able to be a more clear version in the world of whatever I'm needing to show up for in the moment.
And here it is, and I wish they would have taught this in school where when we go through any transformation, we purge and when we heal and we clear this stuff, if we were taught in school, not only that it's okay to feel our emotions and go through it, but every time we purge and we heal something within ourselves, we do it for our entire ancestral lineage. I want to
Mhm.
empower you. If you're in a moment, you're listening right now, if you're in a moment that you're like, I've done all this healing work, I've grown myself into this person. Why am I still dealing with these things? Know that every time you heal something within you, you've helped generations and generations before you and after you, if you do have kids and so forth, and people around. So anytime you do something for yourself, you do for the collective. And I feel like that kind of goes to building that new earth, for that new earth to be the type of the world that we choose to live in. We have to become ourselves,
Mhm.
which is that pure, amazing, loving being in the human body. We
Yeah.
build this amazing system. There's amazing in many ways, right? We have the currency, we have jobs, we have this, rules and regulations. Sure, it's amazing in many ways. But I feel like throughout generations, this system took priority and we forgot how to get answers within ourselves. We look on Google for everything, but have you done a meditation? Be like, okay, let me connect to the superconscious mind of the world, the higher powers, and find that answer.
Mhm.
I teach my clients all the time. I'm like, the first thing you're going to do is stop saying the words, I don't know, because you do
Yes.
know everything. And if you don't know, connect and the answer will come to you.
Yeah.
So, for the new earth to be what we choose to be, we have to allow ourselves to be
Yeah.
who we are.
And what's fascinating about that, thank you, Veronica, is really beautiful, is that because we are living in the now, right? As you mentioned earlier, and everything is happening in this moment, that we can pick and go from any part of our lives, anywhere, that's the beauty of it is there's always access. There's always access to what we need. So just to, share with what Veronica's saying is that, if you're having, something that's happening in your life, we always have access to the solution. The solution is always present. So that future, quote unquote, future version of ourselves that has moved through this is right here with us all the time. And so what we can do in that space too is go, okay, I know that that version of me is present. I know that version of me is within this construct of my field right now, my energy body, my energy field, and the cells of my body. Because if we think about it, that inherent light that's at every cell of the body is perfect and whole all the time. It's just been overlaid. So if we go underneath all of that stuff and say, okay, that perfect wholeness of myself that already exists right here, right now, that's a powerful thing that we can continually connect into to support that inward and, that from the deepest inner parts of ourselves and from the mind coming in and soul energy coming in to meet at the middle somewhere within our physical body, within our consciousness to say, okay, what's needed here? What's needed here to support this body in its moment now to shift whatever's happening right now? And what you were saying is, we're coding ourselves all the time. We're telling our DNA how to code itself all the time by what we're choosing to think and feel and do. And so that piece is so powerful with what Veronica said about whatever we're doing, we're healing lineages, we're healing ancestry because this memory and this code, this frequency reverberates through this idea of the past, right? This idea of what it's existing right now. And so it flushes all the way through the whole experience and then even forward. And so I love that what you're saying because I'll tell my son it's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay to feel what you're feeling, right? And let him have his emotions, cry or do whatever, and then talk to him. And then he's able to actually talk about what he's feeling
Instead
instead
of
of like,
saying like, be a man, toughen up, don't cry because you're a wuss.
yeah, none of that nonsense, I mean, to
Yes.
me, it's everything. It's everything to be able to feel what we're feeling.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have bodies and senses and emotions if we weren't meant to feel and experience. And that's the fun part that we get to engage with. And the more that we lift ourselves into a place of curiosity and adventure of exploring ourselves and shifting maybe from a heavy perspective of what's happened in our lives or choices we've made. And we just look at it as like, what's in here for me to know about myself? And that
Mm,
transmutation happens just by acknowledging it. Just like you were saying, that it happened, the transformation happens so fast because it's in that moment of presence that we release the charge around it. We release the hold around it, right? We're not having to hold it anymore, push it away anymore. It's like, oh, it had its expression. That's all it ever wanted was to have its expression, right? So that
mm,
flow state is the most profound state to be in. That present flow state is going, oh, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, I'm feeling this. Okay, now I'm feeling that, and just acknowledging it as it's moving through so that there's no need to hold on to it.
Mm,
This body wants to be alive, this body wants to have unimaginable amounts of energy. And that's the new earth body. That's the new earth, mentality is let's see how much this body can really be. How light it can be, how fun it can be, how powerful it can be. Because the power is inherent. It's right here. The creative energy is right here in this
mm,
body. I mean, whenever we're looking at ourselves, taking care of ourselves, it's the temple. It's the most profound temple we can ever step into. So that's
absolutely.
one thing I just want to share with people is just recognize when you care for this, when you care for this, you're caring for how it is that you're going to feel, right? You're caring it is for how it is that you're going to step forward in life. It's going to really shape how you make your decisions and how you can move and flow and then choose those moments when you ask your super conscious or you go into that super conscious space and you're like, okay, I honor that it is all right here
Mm,
and I'm able to receive. So coming into that space where that's what we're able to do. Just because we're not receiving maybe right away is that we're not capable. We're always capable and it's just going to move and shift in the divine timing as it's going to for each one of us. So
mm.
just honoring that path that
So
we're each on.
beautiful. So
Mhm.
beautiful. This really, really, really should be in the school. I grew up in a culture where emotions not only were that not important, that's something like if I ever felt anything or sad or this or that, my mom would be like, "Oh, just go away." Like this is something that you see in telenovelas. This is something in movies. We don't do emotions. And
Mm,
it was a tough skill to learn, to open up, to trust, to be okay. Because truly, when you allow yourself to be a free flowing human being, you will feel a lot. There's a price to pay for all of it. And that's why we thrive to surround ourselves and find our soul family and surround ourselves with people that are our cheerleaders, our friends, our families, people that truly, truly love and cherish you.
yeah.
But the part is when you suppress those emotions, when you don't allow yourself to be this free feeling, emotional being that you are, pretty much allowing yourself to be you, when you suppress that, then you're closing all the channels. I mean, you're closing yourself to feel true love or true joy or true
Mm,
excitement. And you're never really get to feel how much another loves you because that shield is closed. The heart is shielded, right? It's closed. So there's a price to pay, but also when you allow yourself to feel of the emotions, then you'll know what true joy feels like, what true excitement feels like. All of the amazing things that come with it, right? And when you do find yourself in places like sadness and anger and frustration, resentment and jealousy and so forth, then find those tools and those skills that snap you out of it really fast. And that's what we're here to share. That's what Kristen is here to share, this amazing tools to come back to your true light, to your beautiful being. And by doing that, we get to create this new earth, this new world that we live in. For some reason, I'm guided to ask for the collective if there is a way to do a guided journey, unless you had a different download that will show us, will get us to experience what new earth that we're stepping into really looks, feels, and senses like. Because I truly believe once we feel and sense, we get to experience what the new earth is, we begin to create new brain neural pathways that will help us get there sooner. And the more of us get to experience that, you're like, okay, now I know it's on the other side. I'm ready to do the work and open that door. How does that feel to you?
Yeah, that feels really good. That feels really good. I
Mm.
think it would be feel really spectacular because I feel like then that new earth world, what we are is whole. And so I can guide a beautiful journey into coming into the body and really feeling the center, the purity of the body and the purity of the space and the mind and the heart to feel that's how we're going to actually be, in our
Mm.
bodies and very clear and grounded and connected. So yeah,
Sounds amazing. Should we go for a ride?
yes.
Thank you, thank you. That was so magical and beautiful. And to realize that it only takes a few minutes to come back to this pure light, this angelic part that we are. And I look outside and it does look like a whole new world, like a whole new place. I had myself on mute when you did the journey, and I'm in Kauai right now for whatever reason. All the wild birds and everybody that could make a sound just came outside. It was so loud, like everything was just alive. And it just goes to show that we are on this mission as much as we're sharing this message with other human beings, that we are on a mission of stepping into this new earth. It's not
Mhm,
just humans.
mhm,
The entire jungle came to life. And then towards the end, when we came back to this light, this pure oneness, everything went quiet, like it's peace. Right now, you don't hear anything. I wish
wow.
I could have recorded that sound. It was just so alive. And it rained too. And it just stopped raining like halfway through.
Wow, nice, nice.
I love this because every time when I do a group thing, and if any one of the people happen to be outside, they always tell me afterwards of like the trees and everything is just so loud. That means we're co-creating with Earth. Earth is healing through us all the time. This is such a powerful journey to come back to our pure power, because I feel like from this place and what I'm sensing and feeling right now, I can create anything.
Mm, mm,
That place of oneness, of fullness, of knowing that everything that makes me me is perfectly imperfect. And from this place, I can create what comes through me. And from this place, you can create what comes through you.
mhm,
Such a beautiful place to be when you allow yourself to fully be you, feel, express, share, show,
mm.
sense, be. What a
Yes,
gift. What a gift to give all of us today. The stepping into the new earth, the stepping into new, powerful you.
absolutely.
Mm,
Thank you. I appreciate you and all that
so
you're
magical.
co-creating. Yes.
So magical. If you have connected to Kristen's energy and got a chance to experience the activation with your VIP ticket and you want to take it a step further, we'll put a link underneath on how you can work with Kristen directly, or there's a group or something that you, Kristen, do with people. Because I truly believe that there's a translator for every one of us, and if every cell in your body tells you like, this is the medicine that I need in this moment in
Mhm.
time. Maybe next month it'll be something else, but right now
Yeah.
I need Kristen's magic to activate and open within me what I had forgotten. Because that's what we do every time we work with somebody. We activate and we open something, or we allow something to shine that was within you, that maybe was covered by trauma and pain and perception and the teachings of the system. We're here to help you unveil the beauty and the light that you already are. And if
Mm.
you feel that Kristen is your person, then please reach out and take this relationship to the next level, because this is what we're here for, to help each other to create this beautiful new earth.
Yeah, it's what we were speaking to earlier, that around really allowing ourselves to be ourselves and feel ourselves. And I went through a major, process with that myself from being a very repressed person in the past as well. And so just knowing that it's possible, just knowing that with each moment that you choose to listen to yourself, that you really let yourself open to yourself. That's the greatest magic and the greatest gift you can ever give yourself, to acknowledge you as just a human, living, beautiful being. And so just wanting to share that everything within you has value. Everything within you is amazing. And so just every moment that you can, that you feel that ability to just have one more connection with yourself, or one more ability to just acknowledge and open to yourself more and more and more, it just gradually grows. It gradually grows. And you never know where it's going to take you, but it always takes you to more beauty and connection with yourself. it's amazing for me to watch other people, open up to themselves and start really connecting in with themselves and taking care of themselves and listening to themselves and giving to themselves what they really truly want and need and have a desire for. And it's just incredible what can happen when we do that for ourselves. So just wanting to honor you, everyone who is here today, and just keep having fun with it too. Just keep playing with it as well. Because sometimes it's not so heavy and challenging as it seems to be. And if we just let ourselves have some fun and go at it with some curiosity and some playfulness, it can be so relieving, so relieving. And so yeah, just have fun, be playful, and take care of yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Words of true wisdom. Be you, have fun with the process, and allow yourself to shine bright because when a wave comes in, it's okay. We have rains, we have snow, we have storms.
Oh yeah.
Always, always, always a rainbow at the end of the tunnel. And let someone in your life to help shine that light and be the rainbow in your life until you're able or you're fully immersed on being that rainbow for yourself, because that is truly the ultimate goal, is to become your own rainbow, is to build your own amazing
Mhm.
earth from inside out, because truly is the way we perceive, the way we respond, the way we choose to filter the world outside of us, the way we choose to see things and understand and understand things will dictate the type of earth we live in and the type of life that we live. And I encourage you to be the best version of you that you could be. May the light shine within you. Thank you, Kristen, for the gift that you gave us today. Thank you for guidance. Thank you for the wisdom that you shared with us. It's been such an honor, such a pleasure to experience you again in
Yeah.
this lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Appreciate it. And all of you that are here listening.
Until the next time.